Hey there, class. Mr. Pusky here. Hope you're having a good day so far. We're continuing with chapter 10, sorry. It says 10.8, day 2, which is all about factoring by grouping. The essential question is, how do we factor polynomials using the grouping method? So basically, factoring by grouping is with 4 terms, a polynomial with 4 terms. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to be splitting the 2 terms in the middle and then finding a GCF of both of those groupings, and then we're going to pull a GCF, which is going to be actually not just a single term, it's actually going to be like an expression we're going to pull out of here, okay? So it's kind of abstract me just talking about it, but it will make more sense once we go through this together. So let's get going. All right, it says factor out the greatest common factor. It says sometimes the GCF is a quantity like x minus 3. So we have x squared times x minus 3 plus 5 times x minus 3. All right, so what do both of these terms have in common here? Well, both these terms have x minus 3 in common, so we're going to pull x minus 3 out in front, and whatever's left over, which is x squared plus 5, that's going to be kind of in the other parentheses, okay? We're basically dividing both terms by x minus 3, and you can see that these are going to cancel, and we're going to be left with x squared plus 5, okay? And that's basically like the last step of grouping, but we're going to talk about the initial steps here as well, okay? So it says use when the polynomial has 4 terms, like I mentioned. And here's the steps. We're going to group the first 2 terms and last 2 terms because each pair has a GCF. Then we're going to factor out these GCFs, greatest common factors. Then we're going to factor out the common quantity, okay? So, yeah, let's go ahead and get into this here. Yeah, all right. So, we have 2x plus 6 plus ax plus 3a. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to split it right after the second term. We're going to go like this. We're going to split it there, and then I'm also going to list the signs of all the terms, okay? So, what are the signs of the first 2 terms, 2x plus 6? Well, these are both positive, right? So, I'm going to put 2 positive signs above them. What about the second 2 terms? Those are also positive. So when you're doing factoring by grouping, the first 2 and last 2 terms should match up exactly. So if you have a plus and a plus, it should also be a plus and a plus. If you have a plus and a minus, it should also be a plus and a minus. If you have 2 negatives, it should also be 2 negatives. Okay? So just keep that in mind. All right, so now we're going to pull out a GCF out of each of these terms here. What's the GCF out of 2x plus 6? Remember, GCF is the biggest number and the smallest exponent they have in common. Well, in this case, it's going to be 2. Right, if I divide both of those by 2, we're going to have x plus 3. And then what can we pull out of the second 2 terms? Well, and then you put a plus here, unless the signs don't match, then you're going to put a minus, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a second here. What can we pull out of the second 2 terms? We can pull out an a. A is the GCF, and then if we divide by a, we're going to be left with x plus 3. If you are doing factoring by grouping correctly, these should match up. What's in parentheses should match up exactly. Do they match up exactly? They do, so we're going to pull those out in front now. So now we're going to do x plus 3 times, and then 2 plus a is going to come along for the ride in the other parentheses. And there we go. Okay. All right, these next 2 examples, if you want to give them a try, you can. But they have some kind of little tweaks in both of them that are going to make it a little bit more challenging. So feel free to give them a try, or else we'll go through them in a second. All right, we have x cubed plus 3x squared minus 5x minus 15. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to split them. Split them right here, right kind of in the middle. Let's check the signs. What are the signs of the first 2 terms? They are both positive. What are the signs of the second 2 terms? They are both negative. Okay? So now we're going to need to fix something here because the signs need to match up. We'll fix them when we're doing our factoring, okay? What's the GCF out of x cubed plus 3x squared? We can pull out an x squared. And then what's left when we divide by x squared? We're going to have x plus 3. Okay, now I'm going to do it the wrong way here in a second here. I'm going to factor out a GCF. So I'm just going to kind of write this over here. I'm going to pretend like this part is going to go over here. Okay? So what's the GCF out of negative 5x and negative 15? Well, we can pull out a 5, right? If we pull out a 5, what's left when we divide by 5? Well, we're going to get negative x minus 3, right? Uh-oh, that's a problem. You see, if we put that over where it should be, we have negative x minus 3 and not x plus 3. So here's how we fix that. If the signs do not match, what you do is you pull out a negative. So I'm going to pull out a negative here. Instead of pulling out a positive 5, I'm going to pull out a negative 5. Okay? And what happens when we pull out a negative 5? What's left over? Well, we divide by negative 5, it's going to change all the signs. We're going to be left with 5 or x plus 3. So that's how you fix it. If the signs don't match up, pull out a negative instead of a positive. And that's going to fix the problem, okay? All right. So now we got to pull out our GCF, which is x plus 3. And what's left inside the parentheses is x squared minus 5. And there we go. Okie dokie. All right, last example on this page. We have 2xy plus 3y plus 2x plus 3. All right, why don't you see if you can give this one a try, and just be aware the second thing, GCF, might be something a little bit goofy, so just keep that in mind. All right, let's check this. We'll split it in half here and check the signs. These are both positive. These are both positive, so we're going to pull out a positive here. What's the GCF we can pull out of here? We can pull out a y, and what's left when we pull out a y? 2x plus 3. What's the GCF for 2x plus 3? Do those have anything in common? They do not. They are not, so we actually can pull out a 1. Okay, we're pulling out a 1. And so if we pull out a 1, because their GCF is, they both have a 1 in common, we're going to have 1 times 2x plus 3. There we go. Okay, so if there's no GCF, you can always pull out a 1, is what I'm trying to say. All right, then we are going to go ahead and pull out our GCF, which is 2x plus 3. And what's left inside the parentheses is going to be y plus 1. And there we go. All right, we got a few more examples to do here. Let's change our color up a little bit. All right, this one, it says sometimes the entire expression has a GCF that you have to factor out first. Okay, so we're going to do this, and then we're going to use square brackets when we do that, and then we're going to go back to curly brackets at the end, okay? So we have 42x to the third plus 24x squared plus 63x plus 36. All right, is there a number or an exponent that goes into all these numbers? The answer is yes, and it is 3. So I'm going to do 3, and then I'm going to do square brackets for now. You'll see why in a second. We're going to keep square brackets here, okay? If I divide everything by 3 now, I'm going to be left with 14x to the third plus 8x squared plus 21x plus 12. And then I'm going to close my square bracket, okay? So that's pulling out the GCF first. We'll kind of keep the GCF on the outside all the way down, and then we'll kind of like leave it, we'll combine it at the end. Well, not combine it, we're going to put it at the end when we're done, okay? So now we're going to do what we were doing before. We're going to split it in the middle here. We're going to check our signs. These are both positive. These are both positive. And so we're going to put 3 in front. Now what's the GCF? We can pull out a 14x to the third and 8x squared. We can pull out 2x squared. And what's left when we pull out 2x squared? Well, we're going to have 7x plus 4. All right, what's the GCF for the second two terms? The signs are positive, so we're going to pull out a positive. Should be a 3, and then 7x plus 4 should be what we get when we pull it out of there, which means we're doing it right. And now for our final thing, we're going to pull the 7x plus 4 in front. So I'm going to do 3 times 7x plus 4 times 2x squared plus 3. And there's our final answer, okay? So the 3 is just going to kind of come along for the ride until the very end. Don't get rid of it. Don't leave it out because it is part of the expression. If you could just get rid of it, it's going to change it, which just makes it wrong. Just kind of keep it on the outside of the square brackets until you're done, until you get to this step. And then you can kind of bring it out in front. Just leave it out in front, okay? All right, why don't you guys go ahead and try these. This should be a negative sign right here for number 5. That should be a negative sign. Why don't you see if you can give a few of these a try on your own. I'll leave it zoomed in right there so you can see them. And see how you do, and we'll go through them in a second. All right, number 5, we have 3x cubed plus 6x squared minus 6x minus 12. So, is there a GCF we can pull out of here? 3 goes in all these numbers. So we're going to do 3 square brackets. Then we're going to have x to the third plus 2x squared minus 2x minus 4. We're going to split it in the middle, check our signs. These are both positive. These are both negatives. So we're going to want to pull out a negative for that second part here. So we have 3 square bracket. What can we pull out of x cubed plus 2x squared? We can pull out an x squared And then we have x plus 2. And we can plot a negative because the signs don't match. Negative 2 times x plus 2. And then now we can go ahead and write our final answer without the square brackets. We're going to do x plus 2. 3 times x plus 2 times x squared minus 2. And there's our answer. All right, 2 more examples. Here we go. 2x cubed plus 14x squared plus 10x plus 70. All right, is there a GCF we can pull out of here? Well, all these numbers are even, and the biggest factor of 2 is 2, so we're going to pull out a 2. So when we divide that, we're going to get x cubed plus 7x squared plus 5x plus 35. Okay, we're going to split it and check our signs. These are both positive. These are both positive. So we have 2 square bracket. What can we pull out of x cubed plus 7x squared? Well, we can pull out an x squared. And then we have x plus 7 is in there. And then we can pull out a 5 out of 35 and 5x. We got x plus 7. We're doing it right because the x plus 7's match. So we have 2, and then we're going to do regular parentheses, x plus 7, and then x squared plus 5. All right, last example for today. We have 5x cubed minus 15x squared plus 30x minus 90. All right, is there a GCF we can pull out of here? These all end in 5 or 0, which means they're all divisible by 5. So we're going to do square bracket. We're going to divide by 5. We're going to have x cubed minus 3x squared plus 6x minus 18. 90 divided by 5 is 18. Do our split, check our signs. These are positive and negative. Oops. And positive and negative, which means they are matching, which is good. 5 times square bracket. We have x squared we can pull out of here. Then we have x minus 3. And put a plus because the signs match. We can pull out a 6. Then we have x minus 3. Now we can get rid of our square brackets. We're going to have x minus 3 and x squared plus 6. And there's our final answer. All right, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. We will talk soon.